let's talk about draft night, because it was, if I remember correctly, there was a bunch of rumors about maybe the Rams were in play. I think they had the pick and traded it, right? Is that how it played out? How did that play out, and how'd you find out that Washington was going to trade up and take it?
Yeah, so
it was a big trade.
It was huge. It was a huge trade. It didn't happen on draft night, so it happened, I think, a few weeks before.
That's right. Yeah.
It actually happened, but right before my pro day.
Yeah.
So my quarterback coach for the pre-draft process, which was the first time I'd ever worked with a quarterback coach, by the way.
Who was it?
Terry Shea.
Yeah.
Now, Terry Shea is a long-time NFL coach, coach for the Chiefs for a really long time. And for whatever reason, me and him, we really vibed well together. Just the way that he coached, the stuff that he was teaching me, I really was attracted to that. So he used to play this card game with me, where he'd have me pick a card. So when we first got together, he had me, who's your favorite teams? Who's this? So he's getting ready to do this card game. Well, we don't play it that day. And I'm like, okay, well, why did he just ask me all those questions? We get a couple weeks before my pro day, and he whips out this deck of cards. And he's like, I've got 3 cards here. Pick one. I pick a card. It's a Chris Cooley Washington Redskins card. He's like, okay, that's the team you're going to play for. I'm like, okay. I'm looking at the draft. I'm like, well, I don't even know where Washington's at.
Yeah.
They're definitely not in the top part of the draft, which is where everyone had predicted that I would go. And then the next day, Washington traded for the second pick in the draft from the Rams. And I go to work out the next day with Terry Shea. I'm like, Coach, how did you know that?
Yeah.
He's like, I didn't know. It's just, it's just the luck of the draw. So he actually predicted that I don't know if I say predicted. It was more like the card game we played the night before, some divine intervention.
Yeah.
We were in the Matrix somehow. He's got superpowers. And then Washington makes a trade. So the funny thing was, if that's not already funny, the funny thing was my agent then says, you don't need to do your pro day. And I'm like, well, why wouldn't I do my pro day? He's like, well, Washington just moved up to the second pick. They're taking a quarterback. So it's either going to be you or it's going to be Andrew Luck. Whoever goes one, the other one's going to Washington. I'm like, okay, I get that, but I'm still going to do my pro day. And the reason I wanted to do my pro day still was because pro day wasn't about me.
Yeah,
it was about my guys.
Yeah, putting Baylor on the map.
Putting Baylor on the map, putting my guys on the map, giving them an opportunity to shine in front of every team in the NFL that's going to be there evaluating the quarterback. Kendall Wright was a first-round pick that year. Right? That's my guy. He was my receiver, my go-to guy. I'm not saying the pro day is the reason he went in the first round. I'm just saying
didn't hurt.
It didn't hurt. And there's some other guys that ended up getting NFL opportunities because of that pro day. And I wanted that for them. So I pushed back against my agent and still did the pro day. And draft day comes around. I'm still in my hardest of hearts believing that I can still go number 1 overall. I didn't know that weeks before the draft they'd already told Andrew, we're picking you, yada yada. But so I'm listening to the first pick, like actually anxious.
Could be me. Yeah.
Like this could be me. Wow.
Yeah.
And to me, it wasn't just about being the first pick. It was about the situation and where you were going. Replacing Peyton Manning is very difficult, but there was a winning culture in place there in Indy that was not in place in Washington.
Yeah.
So I knew that was something that could be. Now, I didn't know everything that was going on in Washington. I found out.
It's a lot going on.
But I didn't know everything that was going on. But I knew that from the standpoint of a winning franchise and what they were doing. So then when my name got called on draft day in the second pick, it wasn't a huge shock because Washington had made the trade weeks before. And they had told me if I was there at 2, I was the guy. I heard that from Mike Shanahan. I heard it from Kyle Shanahan, and I heard it from Dan Snyder. So I knew where I was going. So a little bit of the draft that I wouldn't take it back, but if you could do it again, there is something to say to have that surprise of where you're going. It just doesn't always happen like that at the top of the draft.
I just had on the podcast as well 2 quarterbacks, Christian Hackenberg and Deshaun Kaiser. Remember those 2 names?
Yes, I do.
And we got into big conversations about, as a quarterback, why where you go matters so much. The situation you walk into and just a bunch of different dynamics. What was what are your thoughts on that? And obviously going to Washington, you had a bunch of ups and downs in your career. You're the face of the NFL one year, and then you get injured, and then there's a bunch of chaos going on. Yep. Do you ever think about if you didn't go to Washington, my career might have been different, or just the situation you had to walk into there?
Yeah, what I would say is it's
Before we get to the pod, I want to tell you all about our newest sponsor, Athletic Greens. And let me tell you, when I found out about this sponsor, I was fired up because I've been using Athletic Greens for years, and I want to promote to you guys the things I actually use. I love Athletic Greens. As a former Division I athlete, I've tried countless supplements, and recently my nutrition and my health has become a bigger deal for me as I get farther away from my playing career. And let me tell you, Athletic Greens is the real deal. Has me feeling healthy and energized every single day. With as much as I'm on the road, traveling, shooting podcasts, it's hard to have a healthy diet, hard to have healthy nutrition, hard for me to get my vitamins and minerals every single day. My doctor even told me that last time I saw him. But with Athletic Greens, I get 75 plus vitamins, minerals, and a bunch of other healthy things. I don't even know what they are, but I know they're good for you. And when I wake up every single day now, I feel energized, my digestion has never been better, and I'm ready to attack each and every day because of Athletic Greens and AG1. So if you want to take ownership of your health like I am right now, try AG1 today at drinkag1.com/nextup, and you get a free 1-year supply of vitamin D and 5 free travel packs when you go to my link, tryag1.com/nextup. And guys, all of you who support this podcast, you guys supporting our sponsors helps me a ton. So please go support AG1 and support Next Up through the process and optimize your health and nutrition today. drinkag1.com/nextup. Check it out.
That's a tough one.
We could do you got another 2 hours?
Nah, it's very simple. If I didn't go to Washington, I wouldn't be where I am today. Mm-hmm. And now some people say, well, no, yeah, of course, you'd still be playing, right? It's like, what I'm saying is, like, in order to have a testimony, you got to have a test. And my test was my NFL career. Mm-hmm. To go from being the face of the franchise and a face of the NFL to out of the league in 5 years, and then to get back in and go to Baltimore and be the 4th quarterback in Baltimore, mm-hmm. which most high draft picks won't even think about doing, and earning your way back is very difficult. But it was all part of my journey. So I don't think about it like, man, my career would have been different. I know it would have been different. Everyone knows it would have been different if I had been drafted somewhere else. But do I love DC? Absolutely. I love that city. I love that team. And now that there's new ownership in place there, I'm looking forward to getting back involved with the team, and already have. That's why I was in DC yesterday. So I don't look at it as spilled milk anymore. For a while there, maybe until I was out in 2017, there was a lot of resentment there. There was a lot of upsetness inside of my spirit about that situation and about what happened there. But I was able to let that go, because you cannot move forward in life if you're continuing to hold on to the hurts from your past. Yeah. And I've been able to process everything that happened, understand why it happened, and then for me, just find ways to continue to get better to make sure that the rest of your life is the best of your life. Yeah. So I don't ever look back now and say, oh my gosh, man, if I'd have got drafted here in this situation with this. I more so look at it as, I want Kenny Pickett to go where they want him to go. Yeah. Where they want him. Everyone in the organization wants him. And you've heard me say it on the draft, on TV. The most important thing for a quarterback is uniformity from the top down. Mm-hmm. Everybody's on the same page. GM, coach. We're seeing it right now with Trey Lance in the San Francisco 49ers. Kenny
Pickett at Steelers.
Right? Trey Lance is now the 3rd quarterback for the 49ers. Yeah. Kenny Pickett goes into Pittsburgh, but everyone's in alignment.
Everyone wants him.
This is our guy. Desmond Ridder in Atlanta. They're all in alignment. This is our guy. Mm-hmm. Philly with Jalen Hurts. Mm-hmm. They traded away MVP candidate in Carson Wentz because this is our guy. Yeah. And you need that as a quarterback. It's so much easier to be successful in the NFL as a wide receiver, as a DB, because a lot of what you do is based off of just you. As a quarterback, you're not just a leader, you're having to rely on a lot of other things. Yeah. And it's important for that coach and the GM and the owner to create an environment that the quarterback can thrive in. Yeah. And I had many conversations with Lamar about this when I was his backup in Baltimore and his mentor. Like, the best thing that ever happened to Lamar is he got drafted by the Baltimore Ravens. Yeah. A team with structure and identity, right? Play like a Raven. and they believed in him.
Yeah.
No one else. They traded back into the first round to go get him because they believed in him as a quarterback. And I think that is important. You don't want to trade a bunch of draft picks for a quarterback and then not create an environment for him to be successful in it or to there to be division in the ranks. Yeah. That's not what you want to do.